What are you saying? Another movement decoded. Today, a short and sweet research on locomotion, prone locomotion, and dynamic in rows, lateral rows. Specifically, we're going to explore Panda rows in different variations, and how we can play with level change and dynamic, just a little bit more vocab in our movement. First thing we're going to use as a warm-up is just exploring with the gaze. So somewhere in between a plank and an active tabletop, buoyant, agile. Here, I want my eyes to massage the room. How close can I get to a gaze, to an object? How far away? Play with perspectives, look at it upside down, look at it right side up. And here, just seeing with the limitation of hands and feet grounded, all the ways in which my body can move and follow the gaze, and maybe how a particular position of the body will manipulate where my eyes go. Like so. A little bit of movement there. Warm-up research. Moisturize into the joints. I'm gonna take my levels off because I have a feeling that I'm muffling the mic. So, after that, same premise, but think about exploring around your space. So uprooting as I'm looking around, changing a position, and then using that as a context of exploration. Went there. I'm just seeing where maybe a 3-point base, a 2-point base will allow for a little bit more curiosity in the gaze, playing with grounding and playing with space. I'm purposefully staying in a prone position. Feel free to color outside the lines, go off piste in your research. But for what I'm expressing here and proposing, I'm just a little bit more prone. Because after a little bit of research in that, obviously pause the video, get warm, get loosey-goosey, get bored of it, and then try to, for me, it's like this triangle that goes into this bottleneck, and it's like we have all this potentiality at the start. And then the more that we go into it, the more we might start going into patterns and going in strange loops and just moving into our strengths. And that limits us. And we get bored and complacent. I want to move on to the next thing. What I like to do is really squeeze that boredom and let it come out of this bottleneck and erupt into curiosity, even more creativity. Because like, if I'm exploring and I lift up my right hand and I'm about to place it forward, it's like, I've done that like 10 times now. Okay, cut it across. Whoa, now all of a sudden there's a whole new framework when we get bored in the repetition and think, let me just alter something slightly. And then through that boredom, we start to open up to breaking patterns. We start to notice blind spots. Panda rows. So this next element kind of demonstrated it a bit at the very start. It's done a couple of ways. Essentially, it's just a sausage roll. I'm not going to mince it and try and make it out like it's some big drastic movement. Essentially, to just get used to the mechanics, collapsing down on the side we want to travel through the shin and the forearm, the landing pads, roll, and then we push up on the supported side So we keep it nice and close to offer leverage. Like so. That's our panda roll. Details with the arms I like to play with is maybe contracting to reach the arms above, making sure we're contracting in again to lean into our support for transition. Another detail is just keeping the hands, they don't have to be like BJJ style around the neck for sure. It can be like a little bit more colourful with the arms, like so. What I'm doing with my legs in this one is I love this like sweeping of the floor motion. I'm kind of having my legs sweeping like scale electrics on the ground. I'm not really crossing over, nothing wrong with that, but sometimes it can be a bit clumsy. I like to trace around the limbs. Trace. So my feet have this point of contact to the floor. So that's happening in the roll here. Tracing the feet round. And already you can see where the panda roll is lifting up into the junction of quadruped. We've just been doing exploration. So something that I was just having a lot of fun with really was combining the quadruped explorer into panda roll and seeing where an abstract shape could create direction into the roll. So first of all, feet and limbs fixed. Exploring. Using the eyes to dictate, putting the body in different position, which dictates the eyes a little bit, and seeing where the roll can show up. Playing with dynamic in the roll, slow, fast. And playing with that. Then, using the second element of the warm-up, uprooting the limbs and adding a bit of abstract locomotive patterns. And seeing where the roll can show up from uprooted limbs. It just feels really, really open. There's a lot to play with that. It's very simple, creates a little bit of a flow state, and that simplicity is always a really nice glue when we're exploring bigger dynamics. It's such a stable position to be here. So if we're kind of like in bigger movements, whoa. If we're in bigger movements, makes sense? So like, then we have so much, if you're someone who's working on acrobatics, there's so much forgiveness because it doesn't have to be landed like on a balance beam like gymnastics. There's this scope to use an imbalance to create a spontaneity, a spontaneous reorganization, which can show up in a stable, whoa. So even though I don't feel like I'm in a great position, leaning into simplicity will keep threading the needle. A good friend of mine, Will Brown, he used this lovely analogy of kids at a wedding or a party, or when you've got a balloon. And I still do this now as an adult, but when kids you play this game. There's even like an extreme sport. I saw it on like TikTok the other day, like like extreme balloon volleyball, and there's like a makeshift living room, and there's like they're wearing helmets as well, I guess, full power, and they're trying to not let it touch the floor. It's even though like you may hit it and don't go to where you want to go, but you still have this time to keep interested in the game, in this, keeping the balloon off the floor, not letting it hit that dead space. And that's really where we create simplicity to allow for glue to show up. And this already, as I've mentioned, it's so broad, so open. So even if you fall over a little bit, use that to tap into strength and what feels familiar for the body. That's that. Happy exploring. I know I enjoyed that one. So, we're done. Love, love, love. We know the deal. Hopefully we've watched a couple of videos by now. If you like the thing, like it. If you really like it, leave a comment. If you really, really, really like it, subscribe to your boy. If you want to offer an extended form of gratitude for these mini sessions, there's a link to some unicorn blood that you can buy me, some coffee. That would be lovely. Be so everyone who's bought me a coffee, like seriously, so appreciated. I'm not sponsored by this company or anything. It's literally it's just a little bit of some leverage. Like I've been able to buy, because of those coffees. One second. I've got them on charge at the moment, but I've got fancy new lights where I'm not drinking as much coffee. I'm putting that money towards equipment, a new tripod. I'm not balancing my phone on a set of yoga blocks anymore. I've got a tripod here that I'm using. Like, this is because of the support, and it's literally feeding back into how this content develops. So I feel like I'm accepting an award. It's the little things. Like, I love these babies. Like, wow. Now I'm not limited to the 20-minute window of light that we have in the studio. I can come here early in the morning, late at night, and thank you, gang. Thank you, lovelies. Much appreciated. Anyways, happy exploring. Move with Decoded. Over and out. Peace.